Video lesson number 2 for this Wednesday morning, 2018, summertime, July, day after Julietta Miss' birthday. Okay, driver. Not last night, but the night before, we played baseball, and Jamar and Amari came up and started playing with us. You probably remember this. You hit really good. Ani played, came in on her phone. I sweated a lot. Anyway, so at one point, one of them wanted to use your bat, and you told them not to. I was like, let him use your bat. You're standing next to your mom, you're kind of bitched to your mom a little bit about it. Whatever. That's not that big of a deal. I understand why you didn't want them to. When I was a kid, I was always the one amongst my friends that had the nicer stuff everyone wanted to use. Say it was my bat, and the kids that didn't have a bat wanted to use it. I would acknowledge they didn't have a bat to myself because their parents didn't have the money. Why else would you not have everything you wanted if your parents didn't have the money to buy you everything, right? So I would then think how usually kids that don't have as much money were dirtier than most. Their clothes, teeth, hands, just not as clean. And this is because in my head, kids that don't have parents with money have common traits. Parents are not home as much because they work more. And when they are home, since they're not home as much to clean, like I sit at home and clean and pull weeds all day. So when the kid whose parents work 12 hours a day get home, they're not going to go outside and pull weeds before they cook themselves dinner, you know? They only have like 3 hours before they got to go to sleep and wake up the next day. In that 3 hours, they're going to want to relax for an hour. They got to take a shower. They got to eat. They got to get their kids, make sure their kids are going to have food the next day. And weeds are like way down on the list. And so, you understand that. So kids don't have parents with money, have common traits. Parents are not home as much because they're working more. They work more and get more tired, so they don't stay on top of laundry as well. The kids themselves are dirtier because they are not told to take baths, and you know what kids do when they aren't told to take baths. They don't take baths. And this is because their parents aren't around as much. Like the bath is below the food thing, so the parents are getting home. They only have a certain amount of time. They're like, I'm going to eat, and I'm going to sleep. Screw the kid's bath. I told him take a bath yesterday, and if he didn't take it and he wants to be the smelly kid, I'm gonna put that lower on the list than me eating. You know what I mean? Makes sense? I'm sure it does. So I wouldn't want them to get my stuff dirty. Second, since they didn't have as many nice things, if any, they didn't take care of stuff as well, therefore breaking my stuff and things in general quicker. I was just, first I was being general, looping all kids with less money than I into one group, when oftentimes it wasn't true. It was just a general thought that like, oh, people that are poor are dirtier, and because there's logic behind it. But that's not the case. I've known so many poor people that are like, okay, I don't have a lot of money, so I'm going to keep all my shit real nice. I'm going to keep my house really clean since it's not very nice. And I've done that myself when I lived in a crappy place. I was like, man, if I got to live here and the floors are ugly, I'm going to make sure they're not ugly and dirty. And then when I've lived in places where I had really nice floors, I'm like, oh man, screw cleaning them. Those are beautiful. Those cost me a lot of money. Forget, I don't have to clean those because they're so pretty. Forget it. So, the general thought of people, so that was a general thought of people, and it made sense to me, so I just ran with it. But that is a trick, because no group of people all have the same characteristics. Hippies aren't always dirty potheads. Black people aren't all fast. Rich old white guys aren't all evil assholes. Indian people, like Dot Indians, don't always smell bad. Native Americans are said to be all drunks. That's not true. Hillbillies aren't always stupid. Nurses aren't always females. You get where I'm going with this, etc., etc. So you can't just group somebody into being dirty or being smart or being fast because of a group that they fall in. We all do fall into groups. Like, we all have skin color. We all are from different ancestry. We all, have different parts of the neighborhood. Like, South Omaha boys, South Omaha people are ghetto. They're dumber. They drink more. They do drugs more. They steal. Hippies, dirty drug users, put work very low, stuff like that. Well, those things that I just told you, like, I'm almost none of those, and those are both categories that I fall into. So anyway, second point being, people who are less fortunate than you and don't have nice stuff like you, or as much of it, oftentimes don't have as much love and support in their life because their parents have to work harder to provide and are around less. Like I said before, that's not always true, but that's more common. See, like, it is more common in South Omaha for a guy like me to be a drinker and a thief. But that's not always the case. But since poor people, it's more common for them to not receive as much love because their parents aren't around as much. That's something you can consider, and therefore, this is where the community can come in to help, where you can come in and make the world a better place, and make your own world a better place. Because helping people is what it's all about, and interacting with people and connections and friendships, and it's what it's all about. And that can be proven. If you need me to prove that, let me know. It's not about the dollars and the bats and the computer games or the shoes and shit like that. It's about the relationships you have with people. So that idea right there, what I just said, that it's not about relationships, or it's about relationships and not about possessions and money, is the trick of money that I'm telling you about. Money is a trick, and this is how one part of the trick. You didn't want them to use your bat so they wouldn't mess it up in one way or another, whether it was breaking it, getting it dirty, smelling it, just because you don't, whatever. So you deny him the use of it. This creates a wall or divide between you and him. It might be very, very small, but it doesn't bring you guys closer. You not wanting him to use your stuff and, separating that from him separates you. It doesn't bring you closer. This creates a wall or divide between you and him, lowering the level of connection you two have at that time. The only reason you would do that is because bats aren't free. It's a limited resource that costs money. If you could go get a new one for free, and you wouldn't have to go out of your way to get it, like if one was laying next to you and they were all around you, like, you wouldn't tell him he couldn't. If you laid a piece of grass on the cement and then you picked it up and you're standing in a field of grass, you wouldn't be like, no, stay off my grass, or if you did, you'd be crazy. So, wouldn't have to go out of your way to get it, you would let him use it. So here is the important part. Connections, relationships, and interactions with people are more important than possessions and money. Every successful, rich person, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, blah, 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 everybody will tell you that. But they have tricked us into choosing bats and money over the person and the relationship, therefore separating us. That is the trick. Them making us think that this money is more important than this relationship. It goes within. It happens all the time within families when people die. Like Mitch is going through that with his sister. Him and his sister won't talk right now because his mom's giving all his money to Mitch, or all her money to Mitch. Well, she's got like $10 million. Mitch's sister's got like $10 million. Mitch has got like $1 million already. This is just boom. So then they all have plenty of money. They don't need any money. And they're allowing money to get in between brother and sister relationship where they don't talk. Crazy. But that's all I got for you. Live within the truth, young son.